Thank you so much for having me. And, shout out to you, brother. I hope everybody who's watching, make sure you don't just enjoy this show, also subscribe and share it and like for sure, because the more you like, YouTube has the algorithm that pushes it further. So make sure you do that and comment and let us know what you think.
Ladies and gentlemen, my name is Mihir Joshi. Welcome to another episode of the MJ Show. आप सब जानते हो कि यार काफी हफ्तों से I've been doing a lot of interesting content in the sneaker space, and in India, when you think about the sneaker space, the one name that instantly comes to anybody's mind, somebody who's sort of the face of the sneaker community as far as I'm concerned, it is my guest for today. But apart from sneakers, there's a ton of other things that he does, and I'm sure you guys know him for all the different things that he does. So let's welcome on the MJ Show the absolutely brilliant Rannvijay Singha. Hi Rannvijay, how are you doing?
Hi MJ. Finally, I'm here, man.
Finally, man.
How's it going? I hope everybody's safe and sound at your end. And I
things
see
are good,
that
man.
I've been seeing your unboxings with your baby boy, and you guys are killing it, man. You made a thing out of it. Without him, it won't be an unboxing anymore.
Exactly. तो अभी कल या परसों मेरे पास एक नए I got some new shoes, और my son and my wife are right now at her parents' place. तो मैंने बोला यार अभी आ गए जूते, but I can't do the unboxing until he comes home. तो मैंने सोचा कि ठीक है, अभी 2-3 दिन के बाद जब वो घर आएगा तब बैठ के करेंगे, because it was a complete coincidence. एक दिन मैं बैठा था, I was making a video, and the moment I opened the box, he just walked into the frame, and I was like, okay. And I kept rolling with it, like चलो करते हैं. And then he opened the box and he looked at the shoe and he was so fascinated कि उसके बाद हर बार जब मैं कुछ खोलता हूँ ना, he's like, he'll come and sit on my lap, and now it's become a thing. So unboxing is something that he has to do with his father. So it's become a thing, and I absolutely adore it, man. It's like one of the most fun things that I get to do once in a while.
Are you secretly hoping that his shoe size is the same as yours, or are you hoping it's not?
No, you know what? The way I look at it is, people keep asking me, you've collected so many things. Like you can see my comics, you can see my statues and whatnot. And I have one kid, and very likely I'm going to have one kid only. So the goal is कि someday in my life ये सब कुछ जो है, जो इतने सालों से इतनी मेहनत से collect किया है, वो उसके पास जाएगा. तो shoes भी जाए तो ठीक है यार. Anyway, he claims it when I open a box. He's like, this one's mine and this one's yours. So I've got no problems if he goes on to be UK9. That's my size. That's perfectly cool. But that's your size also, right?
Yes. So he'll have many wardrobes to raid. Don't worry.
Yeah. Right, so through the magic of technology, you might have noticed right now that Rannvijay is sitting in a different room. We just realized that this is a better idea, that we get to a place where the internet is nice and strong. So you guys don't know this, but I've actually asked him this question twice. So here it is for the third time, and hopefully third time's the charm. So, when somebody comes on my show for the first time, I start off with what is called the origin story. And, the origin story is something that I think you can appreciate because both of us love comic books as well. Again, like me, there are a lot of things that you're passionate about, and you've kind of gone after all of them in some capacity, whether it's sneakers or merchandising, clothes, caps, your love for the NBA, and having done things with the NBA. And of course, there is stuff that, everybody knows you for, your work with MTV, your work with films and television. So let's find out a little bit about how your journey began. So Rannvijay Singha ki origin story kya hai, batao?
Because my father was in the army, I went to 9 different schools, right? You've seen Unbreakable, right? It's one of my favorite films ever. Have you seen Unbreakable? M. Night Shyamalan's?
I have. Of course I have, yeah.
It is a story about Samuel L. Jackson's character who's actually, he's got very brittle bones, right? And he doesn't have friends. And while everybody else is playing, he immerses himself in the world
into the world of comic books. Yep.
And superheroes. And he realizes that the superheroes help him live a life and become who he is. And he's so obsessed with them that he begins a search of finding a superhero, right? So the superheroes, and that for me is the best origin story ever, because it's so relatable.
Yeah.
And he becomes the villain, and he finds Bruce Willis's character. And now,
Correct.
in three films, M.
Yeah.
Night Shyamalan has managed to create a universe where,
Yep.
like Marvel and DC, which we are big fans of, and they've taken,
Right.
70 years ago, 80 years ago, when comics were there, this, that, and then the film started, the old Batman, the new Batman, Spider-Man, this and that. But
Right.
within three films, and as a superhero fan, you can't be just a fan of one particular superhero. It's the idea of
Correct.
of
Correct.
all of it. So, anyways, for me, when I was going to different towns, I went to 9 different schools, like I told you. I had
Yeah.
there was no single room or a house or a garden or a playing field that was mine, but my
Hmm.
possessions, right? What I was capable of, my
Yeah.
possessions that I would carry with me to another city. So the
Yeah.
GI Joes, the GI Joes, the He-Mans, the fact that there were some playing cards.
Hmm.
I'm not just talking about the WWF trade. We used to fight,
Yeah.
choose,
Yeah. Yeah.
choose,
Trump cards.
not trump cards, not just those, just also at the basketball cards, because if anybody who went to the US would come back with
Hmm.
cards for me. I mean, that wasn't a big thing in India, never became a big thing.
Yeah.
Um, and this is how I would define myself, right?
Nice.
With my skill set of being a basketball player, a guy
Yeah.
who loves his comics. The thing is that even in the army, right, you have
Yeah.
a lot of your father's colleagues could be a younger officer or a senior officer, and they have a lot of influence on you also. So there
Absolutely.
was these young officers who would say, hey, how old are you? Okay, 7, you need to start reading Commando. So Commando is the
Nice.
first kind of comics that I started reading, because it's an army thing, Commandos. I started
Absolutely.
reading, but I was in Samba, and I used to speak in Hindi a lot, because that time that was my main language, right? I would think
Correct.
in Hindi, convert it into English, and then talk. And my dad had a problem with. I was reading a lot of Nagraj and Super Commando Dhruv.
Right. Right.
Remember, and
Of
Doga,
course. Yeah. 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 Yeah.
and
Raj
Chacha
Comics.
Chaudhary, and
Yeah.
Chacha Chaudhary, and that's when the fascination was my first. So people say, "Are you Marvel or you're DC?" I'm like, dude, I'm Super Commander Dhruv, and I'm Nagaraj, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
And because you're into superheroes, then those GI Joes started happening somewhere in the early '90s.
Correct.
Uh, because also a family background, and then I would have like these threads across the room, and they would be ziplining. So I was like 6, 7, and across my room there would be threads where GI Joes are ziplining straight away, landing into their gypsy or the motorcycle.
Super cool,
Meanwhile, when I
man.
was 6, 7 years old, my in my dad's work environment, my mom, our life, there was a lot of these guys on Enfields wearing
Hmm.
helmets and riding their bikes. They're
Hmm.
called they're DR bhaias who take important documents from one place to the other. So I said, dude, I want to grow up. I want to be this guy. I want to ride
Correct.
bikes in an army uniform. And what a life! This is your job. So
Yeah.
different passions developed at different times. Somewhere in the early, both my parents played basketball,
Oh, nice.
Sanjay,
Nice.
and my mom played 9 nationals from Punjab, and she was before she got married. And dad used to
Hmm.
play in the army for regiments and inter whatever. So it was the sport in our family
Hmm.
before no, my dad and mom, they played tennis, badminton, many different things, but that was the team sport that they were really good at. Both of them were
Right.
really good at. So I had a basketball around me. But in 1993, in 1992, the dream team was formed for the first time. And
Yep.
the Barcelona Olympics happened in
Olympics.
1992.
Yeah.
But by the time my dad got the VHS through his sister who was in the US, it was
Huh.
93. So I remember in
Okay.
1993, we were in Samba, which is
Huh.
45 kilometers short of Jammu, and it's 8 kilometers from the LOC. And
Hmm.
there was a room filled with like 18 to 20 guys from my dad's regiment, bhaiyas, who were in the basketball team, a TV, a VCR, and me sitting in front of everybody sitting chokri marke, and I was sitting in front of them. And it was like a lesson. We're watching the Dream Team VHS.
Wow. Wow.
And my dad was like, this is how basketball's played to his guys. And I was like,
Right.
what? what just happened? Right. So that's when I started taking it seriously. Then I started playing for my school, college,
That's
different
awesome.
states. Yeah. And that's when the sneakers started.
That
Once
is
you
awesome.
started following a particular sport, right, you
Yeah.
get infatuated, obsessed, you admire people in the sport. That was the
Correct.
prime of Michael Jordan, right?
Yep. Yep.
People would say chocolate chahiye, those chocolate sachets, bags that would have
Huh.
Snickers, Mars, Bounty, all
Correct.
of them
Correct.
together, and
Correct.
that was a staple thing that a bua would get or somebody would get
हाँ,
as a
कोई
kid.
यूएस से आ रहा है, कहीं यूके से आ रहा है, तो ये लेके आओ बराबर.
मुझे नहीं चाहिए ये चॉकलेट्स. मुझे आप कोई भी गेम, किसी का भी एनबीए का कुछ भी वीएचएस भेज दो.
Nice.
वो, और मेरे पास वीसीआर नहीं था घर पे.
Correct.
So I had the VHS.
हाँ.
And it would come. Then I would go to different people's houses. They'd invite me saying, "यार तू आएगा घर पे आएगा." I was like, "I'll come." पर हम लोग कुछ देखेंगे. मैं नहीं, मैं आऊंगा तो मैं अपना VHS लेकर आऊंगा, वो देखेंगे. So it was that, man. Lots of origin stories. I mean that's the real origin. That's how I got into bikes, basketball, sneakers, and
Right.
superheroes.
Man, I've been smiling. My face is aching right now, and I'm smiling so much because, मैं detail में ना मैं रणविजय को separately बताऊंगा, but I'll tell you guys that there is so much common here because my dad worked with Bharat Petroleum, so we moved around a lot, and I keep saying, if anybody asks me why am I into the music industry, it's because music was my best friend. My music and my comic books, exactly like it was for you, the only constants in my life were my music and comic books. And I decided, and like all good Maharashtrian boys, I did my engineering वगैरह खत्म किया. And the moment I finished my engineering, I told my father that here's my certificate. Now I got to follow my heart. And the next year I became a radio jockey. So I took my passion for music and followed it through over there. Comics. So, from the day I started earning, यार जब 500 रुपया per episode कमाता था, उस महीने में भी बचा के एक comic book तो खरीदता था मैं. So my comic book collection, even in my childhood, I never got pocket money. So चलो birthday के लिए पैसा मिला, दिवाली के लिए पैसा मिला. Save all that money. The moment your exams get over, go to Fountain. वहाँ पे second hand books मिलते थे, सब comic books and all that. So I'd go pick up my comic books and everything, Superman. और तब आजकल तो there's a lot more access to stuff. तब तो कुछ नहीं था, तो जो सेकंड हैंड में मिलेगा खरीदो. And I have like still those old comics that I picked up like 25 years ago. I still have them all tattered and torn because तब किसको मालूम था कि comics अच्छे रखने होते हैं, whatever, you just read them as you wanted to. But yeah, that's how I got into the things that I love. And like it was with you for NBA, for me it was about WWE. I used to wait for WWE tapes,
WWF at that time.
तब तो WWF था, correct. And I used to love it, man. And fortunately now I get to say that like for me, people like say Jim Ross and Jerry Lawler were the voices of WWE for me in my childhood and my teenage years. And now for me to think that, yaar, meri awaaz, thousands of kids are listening to it on commentary. And I've been doing this for about 3 years now, man. It's the greatest thrill of my life. That's something that I was watching since I was 15 years old. जब से इंडिया में WWF क्या होता है मालूम पड़ा है. Now I'm a part of that. And the coolest thing that's happened in this last 1 month in Mumbai from the lockdown is we've stopped Hindi commentary यहाँ से, because the offices are shut down, the Sony office also right now. The number of kids who've written messages to me saying, sir, aap kab वापस आ रहे हो? We are missing your voice. It's the greatest joy in my life right now to know that the fact that आज TV पे नहीं हूँ and there are some kids out there, even if it's like 100 kids who miss my voice, man, it's the best thing. So, I know exactly how you feel, where you can take your passion and create a living out of it. तब कभी लगता नहीं है कि you're working. You feel like अरे हाँ, every day is something spectacular. Now, while people do see your side as a television personality, having done years of work now with MTV, Roadies ke to kitne seasons? How many now? 19, 16? What is the 18. So 18 seasons of Roadies that you've, been involved with and everything. Let's talk about specifically, because, I wanted to get to know a little bit more about your love for sneakers. What was the first really, really important sneaker that you picked up in your collection? What was that first thing that you wanted to get?
In 96, 97, I was sent to a boarding school in the Shimla Hills, Army Public School, Dakshay. And we had a lot of, Nehru House, Patel, Subhash, Tagore. And Tagore House had NRIs because it was a lenient house where the seniors, there were no seniors, so you could just be
Mm-hmm.
an NRI. That house had people from different parts of the world who were Indians, who people who would send their kids back. Now these guys had Nikes and Reeboks, and this is I'm talking about 96, 97. I am
Correct.
wearing Liberty Force 10s to play basketball, and by this time I'm
Correct.
playing for Himachal, under 14. I'm a
Nice.
player. Like I'm defined by he's wo basketball player. It was not.
Huh.
I was defined by that.
Correct.
I used to play many sports for my house and school,
Mm-hmm.
but I was efficient in, I was playing basketball at a high level.
Mm-hmm.
So my eyes, when we'd go to Sanar, we'd go to Bishop Cotton School, we'd go to all these schools to play games, or Mohali.
Mm-hmm.
My eyes, I didn't even know what people looked like sometimes. People would get off and I would be just looking at the bench and I would be looking at just at shoes. There's something called basketball. Mein entry marte hain. You get into the court and the
Correct.
whole team goes and they hit, they tap the board. Then you go layups from both sides and everything. So when
Correct.
I'd be doing it, I'd just look back to the other team and I'd just be looking at their shoes. And I find some cool sneakers and I'm like, "Achha,
Huh.
this must be a good player." Then I'd look up. I was like, "Isko main dikhta hu." It was that. I almost you've seen Jo Jeeta Wahi Sikandar, right?
Of course. Of course.
So we were the we were obviously the Rajputs. The inferior school always felt like the richer school had more, and we always had that thing. It is we all. I mean, I feel like we wanted to win not because it was a game. We wanted to win because they had better shoes, better
Yeah.
sneakers. Can you
Yeah.
imagine? That was in my head, and I was
Correct.
13, 14. So I
Right.
wanted to just get. That's the only kind of equipment that one longs for in basketball.
Correct.
in
Correct.
in in cricket, you're like, I want an English willow blade. I want a blade that's curved, this weight. There are many things. There are many
Correct.
things. Spikes, this and that. In basketball, it's simple. I just want I
Sneakers.
want
Yeah.
my sneakers.
Yeah.
Then I got some action stuff. Then some, and I was like, I want Reeboks or Nikes, and my parents bought me Tufts. Tufts had double Nike. You remember
Yes,
it
I
was
do.
like it was a tick, and the tick wouldn't finish and another tick would carry it
और
on.
एक आ जाता था. Correct.
So I was like, anyways, in 2001, I got into college. I went to a very good college called Hansraj. Again, I walked in because I went for the basketball trials, but we were already scouted by these different
Hmm.
colleges.
Hmm.
And in the summers, after the first year, I went to England and then I went to the US. Now, when I went to the US, I started working. It was a summer vacation, but my parents wanted to give me an experience of life. कि
Nice.
भैया ये ना ऐसे होता है. I just wanted to go play ball on the streets and stuff like that in different nooks and corners of New York, and I started working in construction. So that's
Oh, wow.
my
Okay.
parents got. So as an 18-year-old, I was wearing a hard hat, steel toes, jeans, uh, proper standing in a place. We would get picked up in a van, sit, go whole day building scaffolds, uh, construction work, picking up stuff. And I also
Wow.
became stronger. This happened for 2 3
Mm-hmm.
months, and I was getting paid. Like
Mm-hmm.
for an 18-year-old, it was a lot of money. Didn't
Correct.
spend it at all. That's when I bought my first Air Jordan. It was not an Air Jordan 1. It was
Mm-hmm.
an Air Jordan 2, 3, 4. None of this. It was just a Jordan. I have a picture. I'll send it to you.
Huh. I
And
love that.
I wore it on roadies also. By the time roadies happened in 2003, I was wearing those shoes. Those shoes, and I bought the
Yeah.
Kobe Crazy 8s, the Adidas
Nice.
Kobe Crazy 8s, right? Because
Nice.
Kobe was with Adidas at that time. Those I still
Right.
have, by the way.
Mm-hmm.
The Jordan that I had, I have a sneaker. I have a photograph, many photographs of that. But the Adidas Kobe 8, when Kobe shifted to Nike, I stopped wearing them. I preserved them. I was like, dude, this could be like, it's never going to happen again.
Yeah, it's going to be
But
special. Yeah.
but the Jordans, I just like. I used to. So when I came back to college, I would lace them up with each other, hang one
But
here, the other in the back,
uh-huh.
and then go to a game, keep them on the
Huh.
side, play in those the other shoes,
Huh.
and once the game is over, then I would wear them not to play, and they were like, "You're supposed to play in Jordans." I just couldn't get myself to a place where I would like, "Oh, these guys are going to finish if I play in them." Because I used to finish. I used to
Correct.
go through sneakers in like 3.5 months, easy. They would
Correct.
just
Wear
then
out.
then because I'd already gone to the US and now I'd met some of my cousins and they used to go to the factory outlets and they would send me some sneakers too, which were like $28, $27. They just send me. So
Hmm.
now suddenly I had like four, five sneakers in the second year of college. I was
Hmm.
then I was the only guy who had Jordans in my team at that time. There was a whole thing. We used to go in, do our layups and everything in normal shoes, and then the whole team would sit around me, five here, and one
Uh-huh.
guy in the front, and I would take out my Jordans and on the right one, and everybody would go, oh. So the other team would just look, we would wear it. Then I take the other one, oh, and then I was ready. And then so how you see NBA players do all of that, and then we had a tradition where when I'd wear one pair, everybody would make noise, and the other side, and then I would go
That
in,
is
and
cool, man.
we were the university champions. We won 11 tournaments. I was the MVP in many of these uh,
Oh yeah.
LSR, LSR and all these. And sneakers were the thing. I would finish the game, get into my flip,
Hmm.
stuff like that, into my slides and just wear my sneakers. So all these girls would come and talk. We'd be having whatever nimbu pani and all, and the sneakers would always be there. And
Nice.
because I remember that you only remember a player with his sneakers, so I wanted the girls to
Correct.
know that
To see your sneaker.
वो जॉर्डन वाला लड़का कहाँ है जो बहुत अच्छा खेला ये so it was that and then very early I got an opportunity like yourself right after your engineering. After I finished my college, I wrote the CDS exams, which is a combined
Hmm.
defense service exams. I
Hmm.
cleared my SSB, I cleared my medical, all set
Hmm.
to go to the army. And I wanted to go because that's where I saw myself playing regularly, riding bikes, and
Hmm.
having a outgoing, outdoor, adventurous life, which is what I wanted to lead then,
Beautiful.
all my life. So I cleared all of this, and I my SSB thing came, and then there was an ad saying that if you want to win the Charisma, because at that time that was the bike.
The bike.
I used to go to my college. I had a Splendor, which
Uh-huh.
after my America trip, I came back and I modified it, which looked
Oh,
like a
nice.
Ducati, which looked like a
Oh,
Ducati.
wow.
I have pictures of that. And so my parents know that I'm that guy since 15, 16. They know that when I go work hard, I got the money, I give my parents money for the down payment of their first house. And
Hmm.
I bought myself sneakers, I bought my brother's sneakers, my mom, dad, and I modified my bike. That's it. Money over.
Nice.
Right?
Very cool.
Yeah. So and then come 2000, every time I used to cross this I don't know if you know Delhi, but if you go, I was in North Campus in Hansraj College from Dhola Kuan,
Hmm.
the Army Boys Hostel. There was one Hero Honda showroom that time it was Hero Honda. One Hero Honda
Correct.
showroom where they had for the first time put bikes like figurines, like action figures. They were
Correct.
hanging in different these
Oh,
things,
wow.
right?
Nice.
Like it was not just a bike standing like this in the window. It was like one bike like that. I used to look at these bikes, and then I saw an ad of saying that something adventurous trip of 40 days, 7 guys, 4 boys, 3 girls. You can win a charisma. I was like, dude, I'm going to do this if I have the time. Joining the academy was somewhere in October, November,
Huh.
August. I went for the roadies auditions. I got selected. I was like, dude, I just want to go there for 40 days, win this bike, and have this bike
Hmm.
when I'm a lieutenant in the army, right?
Correct.
I'll have
Correct.
the charisma. And that's when I saw life outside the army for the first time. I was wearing my Jordans, of course, on that, and the Kobe's also.
Nice.
And that's where, when you talk about passion, even today, if somebody would define me, it's the same guy who wanted to ride bikes,
Hmm.
who wanted to have an adventurous outdoor life, play
Hmm.
sports, play lots of sports, including basketball, and that's do obstacle courses and all. That's what my life is. I do roadies. It's that I work for the NBA, like you said. I ride bikes. Um, and once as a we're lucky that we identified these things that were our passions
Correct.
And we followed it. It's easy to say follow your passion, but these are difficult choices that you got to
These
make,
are
man.
very difficult choices, man. I feel it. I feel exactly what you're saying. One of the other things that I want to tell you right away, this is the first time we've spoken at length. You're one of the best storytellers, man. Like, this is one of the few episodes in my life where I'm just like sitting back and listening to an amazing story. But I loved how you've encapsulated your life and your passions in these couple of stories that you've shared with everybody. So for everyone watching right now, here's something that you can inadvertently sort of learn from this episode, that it's not easy, and both of us can attest to that if you want to follow your passions, get ready for an even more difficult life. Easy hota to सब लोग कर लेते, difficult है इसीलिए बहुत कम लोग हैं जो eventually ये कर पाते. But if you do want to do it, it's not impossible. Here we are, a son of a army person and a son of a guy working in a petroleum company, doing what we love and doing it for a fairly long time now. Got to talk to you about a couple of other things. I just realized baat karte karte we're already at some half an hour mark, and I just realized this is very likely part one of my episode of the MJ show with Rannvijay, because there's so much more to talk about. There's some interesting things that are happening right now in our country in the sneaker space, man. I'm sure you are aware of it. Of course, the country being the way it is right now, being affected by COVID, one of the coolest things that I've seen over the last few months is how so many different sneaker related people, companies and, even your big reseller type guys, they've all banded together or doing things individually to raise money for charity. I think there's some spectacular stuff that's been happening. I saw you got involved with the Soul Search auction that happened, right? You gave one of your signature sneakers for an auction.
It's not a guy who's a यार तू तो बहुत जूते खरीदता है, तेरे पास तो बहुत जूते हैं. What is that? What does that mean? I mean, I'm not a rich guy who's like just. So I realized that if I can't even educate people around me properly,
correct.
Then when every time I've been wearing sneakers on MTV since 2003, I've been fighting stylists who are saying we'll wear a tuxedo. I'm gonna wear sneakers. So figure out a suit which is light blue, because
which goes with that.
I'm gonna wear my Air Jordan 1 lows, blue and white. I sent UNC's. I sent it to her. She's like, "Oh, this won't go. We have to wear black." I was like, just since 2003.
Correct.
And many people who weren't even into sneakers or didn't know sneakers have said, "Sir, मैंने आपके लिए Jordan, आपकी वजह से Jordan लिया." In 2005, 2006, people are wearing, because that's how I was. It was not a fashionable thing to do, which it has become now, which eventually something that catches fire does. It's so I try to tell other people, because I have some sneakers that people, oh, hype beast. I'm like, dude, I'm the furthest away from being a hype beast. I actually don't have like 50 to 60% of my collection is they're not hype sneakers. They're Iversons and Shaqs and T-Max from when these guys weren't born, maybe. And they're not of great value. Like an Air Jordan 1, now if somebody scores on retail for $140, sorry, for 140 pounds, or for apne wahan pe 14,995 ka.
Correct.
If you score it, it means that, that sneaker would be worth 30 or 25 or 40K, depending on if it's a Mocha or, what is it, Volt or
UNC, whatever. Yeah, correct.
Yeah. So it's because of the value that people are buying. We were buying sneakers because we just wanted, like, so
man.
Out of my first salary with MTV, right, where I have given up I was like, dude, I want to go to the army. Then I went for roadies. I was like, okay, I don't know. I'd be the 6th generation of my family to go to the army. And I'm the eldest guy from both sides. And everybody looked up to me because I was already doing, like, I was on scholarship in college. The last 2 years of my school were also scholarship. These cousins from both sides would look up to me. And if I did something, my whole family would be like, teri wajah se baki bhai behan bhi bigad gaye. And this looked like, अरे यार इसको हवा लग गई है, girls are recognizing him on the street, so इसको हवा लग गई, हीरो है ये, हीरो अपना हीरो समझता है, ऐसा होता था family और friends में. And the same guys, like 5 years later, when a film was releasing, where I was in the, oh, हमने तो पहले ही बोला था तुम्हारा बेटा hero है. I'm like, how you've turned it around, uncle. Thank you.
क्या बात है.
So at those times, when I actually got my salary was 40K.
Correct.
20K of my first MTV salary went into two sneakers, which were the same sneaker, one in black and red, one in white and red, were the Vince Carter Nike Shox. 10,000 rupees का जूता था वो. Lower Parel के Nike से लिया मैंने. Black and red अपने भाई के लिए, white and red अपने लिए. Mom के लिए कुछ सामान लिया, कुछ Reebok का कुछ ऐसा sneaker. और मैं जो करिश्मा मैंने जीती थी उस पे बैठकर वहीं से सीधा पुणे गया. By that time my dad was posted there. My dad was somewhere else. My mom and Harman, I gave them these gifts and I came back after a couple of days.
Very cool.
So my first salary, before I even went for the roadie shoot, because we'd done the auditions and after that I got my first salary. Before the journey, I was like, done, sneakers. I'm happy.
Very cool, man. Very cool. But yeah, I mean, we came to this because I was telling you, I loved the fact that, you gave your signatures sneakers for auction. I was able to do something really interesting. I've had Dave Ortiz and Trinidad James on the MJ show recently. So Dave Ortiz signed 2 art prints of his, and I had them sent across to Soul Search. वो अभी auction हो चुके हैं. And Trinidad James के sneakers आ रहे हैं. He signed a box. He's sending, I think, Air Jordan 6 DMPs to Delhi, and those are going to get auctioned. So I was just very happy that through the work that I'm doing, I was able to connect with some people who people in India look up to and get some stuff over here for auctions. We were talking about the stuff that Soul Search has done, but I also wanted to give a shout out to some of the other brands who've done some fantastic stuff. I just saw today Veg Non-Veg, today or yesterday, Veg Non-Veg started doing this charity thing where they put up sneakers and people can basically take a raffle ticket of 500 rupees and like win some really cool sneakers.
So this is the kind of things that I'm saying. One that Soul Search started doing was to have raffles for a particular sneaker. That if you want that sneaker, you just buy a ticket of 500 or 2,000, and all the money that's collected will go towards certain foundations, and that sneaker would go to whoever wins the raffle. The other was that you donate a pair. Like just anybody can just donate a pair. And people can bid what they want to pay for it. It could be a second-hand sneaker, it could be VNDS, whatever, it could be DS. And you give a sneaker away. So a lot of sneaker resellers, resellers who are with Soul Search. So it's not just one person. I saw many sneaker resellers in India. They gave from their, whatever they had, kind of scored. They gave their sneakers on which they could have made a huge profit margin or whatever, but they donated it. So whatever they got it for, which is retail, plus whatever they could have made profit. So they've donated all of that. It's done good. It's gotten people oxygen. It's helped people fight COVID, right?
Correct.
And so it's one platform, but many sneaker. Then I also know another one called Sneaky Mafia. They did a 2,000 rupee thing, which me and my family, like 5-6 of us, went in for a particular sneaker. So the contribution is 2,000. You could win the sneaker, which is for 20. But even if you don't win, it was going towards a foundation, right? When this is happening, then they said, hey, Run, people follow you for sneakers, something that's special to you. And there was a signature sneaker, plus it was customized. Right? And it had a story. Like I'd made a YouTube video, like it's called Soul Customs, and it was a story of how passionate I was. So people know that was close to me. Many people have watched it, and fans have said, "Wow, kitna sahi customized hota hai. Why can't we get this one? Why can't it be a?" So to give that away and to know that somebody bought it for a certain amount and that money is gone to help somebody is just like, it's
amazing.
It's not like, the fact that we got a zaria, a way of doing it is amazing. And shout out to last night, I saw Veg Non-Veg doing the same thing. That any sneaker that you want, just buy a 500 rupee ticket and go for it.
You could win.
There's another, that particular shoe. And then I know Sneakerheads India just got in touch with me. So between Sneakerheads India and Soul Search, we're going to do more of these. I'm going to get more of my sneakers that are very close and have a story, get some more money raised. And once I do 2-3 of those, I'm going to get in touch with my friends and say, hey man, listen, I've managed to, because I'm also doing another fundraiser which is totally different from sneakers. I've managed to raise
Mm-hmm.
this through sneakers. So
Correct.
if you give me your sneaker
Correct.
and appeal to your fans that go here and buy my
Buy it.
sneaker, and
Correct.
so I think so this week we're going to do that. And I just think that's why it was very important to build a culture, not
Mm-hmm.
around profit, not around hype, and not around just, oh, fashionable, or Air Jordan 1 off-white is fashionable, so I want it, and I'll be the cool
Correct.
kid. That is different. That happens automatically in any country where there's more purchasing power or fashion hits, and you
Correct.
have more it boys and more hype beasts and stuff like that. But
Yep.
we did a sneaker festival in India called Soul Edition. I don't know if you heard of
Nice.
it, in Delhi. Soul Edition
Right. Okay.
had graffiti artists, hip hop artists, a DJ who's into sneakers, DJ Sa. We had
Nice.
Adidas, veg, non-veg. We had sneaker resellers. Soul Edition happened in Delhi, and that was the first sneaker festival that we did. We just wanted to see what kind of people come there, and the kind of people who came there were like artists, people who loved music, people who loved NBA, people who loved.
Nice.
So then you realize that it's not a particular kind of person. It is so many
Correct.
different subcultures that
Who are
you
into
get
it? Yeah.
who are into it,
Correct.
and the common binding factor is our sneakers. So there'll
Yeah.
be skateboarders, BMX riders, hip hop artists, basketball players, football players, or fans of all of this,
Correct.
who just come in, and they celebrate togetherness because
Absolutely.
of sneakers. Yeah,
Hey, it's
like
very cool, man, and I'm happy to see more such things happening. Like I had Aditya Bhalla on my show as well a couple of months ago, and he talked about a similar kind of a festival that he did. I know these boys from Crep Dog Crew did not a festival but like a one-day event, and I'm happy to see stuff like that happening. Speaking of them, they've done something interesting. I saw. So here's a very cool thing that I found out. There's this boy who's an artist. Okay, he's a sneaker artist. Well, not a sneaker artist, he's an artist, and he loves sneakers. So what he did is he's done sketches of sneakers. Okay,
yeah,
and some really really cool stuff, and he sent me these sketches, and what he said is, I am making prints of these and I'm selling them at 1200 rupees. I'm charging 200 for printing and shipping. 1,000 rupees on each of these is going to go for charity. I was so impressed. Like, this is a guy who spent time and effort learning how to draw things, how to make sketches. He's made these cool sketches and he's putting in. So all of these people that I'm mentioning, whom we are giving a shout out to, I'm going to give their links in the description. Support them, support your local communities who are doing things to help out our country, because trust me when I say this, things are still quite bad. Like, maybe if you're in a big city and things are seemingly becoming better, that's one very small aspect of our country, but the rest of our country is going through some crazy shit. So if you can do something to contribute, make sure you're doing that. And there are so many fantastic things where you can still be a part of something that you love, like sneakers, and still contribute and do your part to help other people out. But speaking of giving out shout outs, I want to give a shout out to Rannvijay's YouTube channel. The thing that he just spoke about, he's done, I think there were 2 episodes that you did in Soul Customs, right? The one
I
was
think
the
I think
Northeast one,
4.
and the other one was with Che.
Northeast with Shay. We did one with a lady from Delhi. It's
Correct.
very nice, and another one. So we've
Nice.
done 4. And
4.
oh man, am I under pressure to give all the customer? I think those will be special. I also have another.
नहीं नहीं भाई, मैं बता रहा हूँ लोगों को, तुम्हारे चैनल को सब्सक्राइब करने के लिए मैं थोड़ी
नहीं
बोल
नहीं,
रहा हूँ
पर
तुमको जूते
मेरे को
देने हैं.
ऐसा मुझे ऐसा लग रहा है कि वो वाले देने में एक
No, those are
स्टोरी भी
special to
होगी,
you,
and I
man.
think that's the one that I gave. So I think I'm also going to go into that direction, because I think
Yeah.
here the again, the customizer
Yeah.
gets to be part of it. He or
Yeah.
she also
Beautiful.
will tell their friends that, listen, I made this sneaker, and now this sneaker went for 35,000 rupees, right?
That's amazing, man. That's
So
amazing.
as an artist, for that customizer, as an artist, he
Yeah.
must be like, dude, मेरी वजह से किसी को
35,000 रुपए. हाँ.
किसी की जान बची हो सकती है यार.
Correct,
Right?
man.
So
Absolutely. That's
I think I'm
beautiful.
going to go into that. And there's a friend of mine. I mean, thanks to the NB, and we've met each other in the NB office every now and then.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So I met him a couple of times in the US, and they came to India for the international game. His name is Harrison Barnes.
Mhm.
So he also autographed one of my signature sneakers. So I'm thinking that I'm going to get him to push that through Soul Search or Sneakerheads India, and let's
Very cool.
figure out in the next 1 week. Yeah, करते
That
हैं.
would be fantastic, man. But honestly, to everybody in the sneaker community, all of you guys who are doing this, I'm super proud now to be a part of this community. I'm super proud of people like Rannvijay and the people at Soul Search and Crep Dog Crew and Sneaker. What was the other one that you just mentioned? That's the one that I'm not seen yet. Sneakerheads India, you
Sneakerheads
said.
India. Yeah.
ठीक है तो Sneakerheads India, shout out to you guys. Nakul, small artists, small handles, people with like 1,000 1,200 followers doing something to raise money. There was Contemporary Blues India, which did something. There was Sneaker Preacher, who did something, who's been constantly giving out information about different things that are required for people. So all of you, you guys are doing an incredible job. Keep doing it. Keep supporting the community. And let's just show it's not just a passion. It's not just about making money. मैं जानता हूँ बहुत सारे तुम लोग रीसेलर्स भी हो, पर रीसेलर्स भी कर रहे हैं अपना पार्ट. सो गो फॉर इट
रीसेलर्स
गाइस.
ने अपने अपने जूते जिसपे वो बना सकते थे पैसे वो दिए, डोनेट
वो
किए
दिए,
यार.
which
I
is
saw
which is
that, right?
fantastic, which is genuinely fantastic. But so what's next for Rannvijay? I know you still you're not here, you're not back in Mumbai yet. So what's happening? What are you up to next?
I actually had COVID last month, right?
I know. Yeah. Hope you're
So
fine now, man. Hope you're. I saw your video on Instagram which said you've come back testing negative, but I hope
yeah,
everything's fine
I tested
otherwise.
negative many weeks ago, and then
Yeah.
we're having another child, as I don't know if you
Of
know that
course, we
in
know that.
July we're having.
Congratulations.
It was very important for me to be with my wife and my daughter while
Yeah.
she's in the family way. So
Mm-hmm.
my anxiety was that if I get with the lockdown and with no flights from there, and what if I'm not here for the last whatever. I mean, it was just so I'm
Yeah.
very really grateful that I'm with my family, and that's what I keep telling people, that if you're locked down in your own
Yeah.
house with your
Yeah.
family, you should understand that you are more privileged than people who are stuck without their families, who are not at home, who don't have the
Correct.
resources to take
Correct.
care of their family and themselves in this
Right.
in this situation, right?
Right.
So
Right.
I every day I get up, I'm like, wow, man, I'm with my family, and I'm very grateful. There is nothing that and the situation is so bad that we should look at ourselves and say, I look at your videos and I'm like, ये बंदा घर पे तो है, घर से काम कर रहा है, अपने अपने बच्चे
Correct.
के साथ है, खुश है, तो
बिल्कुल.
रहो ना घर में, फिर रहो घर में, इससे ज्यादा क्या, मतलब
बिल्कुल.
what else do you want in your life,
Correct.
um
Correct.
so that and what's next is for me to just take care of my family, man. I'm
That's
not
beautiful,
oriented on,
man.
yeah. I
That
just
is
want to
truly
be here for
beautiful.
my family, take care of my parents who are in Chandigarh, take care of my family, like you, uh, or sneaker family, people that I just take care of people, man. Things will
Yeah.
keep happening, projects will come, you can do things in life, but at this moment, you just gotta be there for your friends and family, and that's next for me, man. I'm trying to do whatever I can.
Man, could not have thought and said anything better than that. And on that note, I think it's a great time for us to end this episode. There's so much more that I want to talk with Rannvijay. And I feel like I've just found like a long lost brother. यार कितनी सारी बातें हैं जो अभी हमें करनी है. Because I you know what, this is the craziest thing. You guys all have to realize one thing. We bumped into each other like maybe 3 or 4 times in the past, in the last 6-7 years that we've been crossing each other's paths in different places in the entertainment business, but we've never really spoken. This is the first time he and I have actually sat down face to face and chatted. And I feel like I've known him for the last 20 years, and I want to get to know you even better. I'm
Likewise.
so happy for you, my friend. Congratulations on your
Thank
second
you.
baby. Can't wait for your family to grow, to get another young sneakerhead, or whatever he or she is going to be spectacular. So congratulations once again. And like I
Thank
said,
you.
there's a lot more to talk, but karte rahenge yaar baatein. We'll
Whenever
continue
whenever
this.
you have time, and whenever you have time, and let's do this. I was uh, to meet similar people and
Yeah.
to have a chat with them and to understand, and relatability is more important, and you and me, because your dad was in BP, my dad was in the army, we
Yeah.
cherish that. A lot of people
Yeah,
who stayed
man.
in one place for 20 years, 30 years,
उनको समझ
they
नहीं आता है.
समझ में इसलिए नहीं आता because they can't relate. Their reality was different, and a lot
Different.
of the things that they understand, you and I don't, right? So that's why I think we connect.
We
And
bonded, yeah, man, for
thank you
sure.
so much for having me. And shout out to you, brother. I hope everybody who's watching, make sure you don't just enjoy this show. Also subscribe and share it and like for sure, because the more you like, YouTube has the algorithm that pushes it further. So make sure you do that and comment and let us know what you think.
Yeah, man. Let us know what you think. And listen, like I told you a little while ago, Rannvijay's link to his YouTube channel is down here in the description. Go and check out. Apart from his, other side of his life, there's a lot of sneaker-related content that is there. He's put out some amazing unboxing videos of some like really exclusive sneakers, which you would not generally get to see here. And there's a lot more that will keep coming. He's just shown a video a few months ago of all the sneakers that he's got with him in London. Bhai, kitne sare wahan pe bhi pade hue. And I know there are a lot more which have now come to your house in Delhi also, which you eventually have to unbox and open up. But for everybody watching right now, thank you very much for joining us today. To all the brands and all the people, all you resellers, everybody who's doing their part to support the community, lots of love from Rannvijay and me to all of you. Keep your work going. More power to you. But for today, this is pretty much all the time we have. That there is Rannvijay. My name's Mihir, and this was the MJ Show. Peace.
Thank you, Mihir. Bye. Stay safe.
Hey, I'm Mihir Joshi, and I hope you enjoyed that video. If you did, make sure you subscribe to the channel and hit that bell icon so that you get a notification every time a new video goes up. Hit the like button as well. Leave a comment here for my guests and for me, and share it with absolutely everybody. We will really appreciate it. Make it happen.